Hello, welcome to a new video, and as you can see by the title, this is gonna be a big one. We're definitely starting to outgrow our current space. I work as a creative. I also work at a 9-to-5 marketing job full time, and I also run my small business, Yes. So we very quickly have been outgrowing our downtown apartment. So the next place is going to be one that hopefully we can call our own. So we'll be starting our search, but I don't think we're gonna end up in Vancouver. I think we might end up looking outside of the city in like a Burnaby or a New West or a Richmond. I don't think we're gonna go as far as Surrey. Let's keep it just to one bridge from the city, but that's just kind of where my mind is at the moment. We really are going into this without any previous real estate knowledge or experience, so we have no idea what's gonna happen. So in terms of a starting point, we were kind of like, do we start with a realtor or do we start with a mortgage broker, because it doesn't really make sense to rope in a real estate agent if you know you can't get a mortgage. So we are actually going to be starting with a conversation with a mortgage broker, and the call is scheduled for tomorrow. We're going to have a call with him, and he's basically going to gather some information from us and do some like quick math to figure out what we could roughly qualify for, and then we're just gonna kind of go from there. So I will let you know how the call goes, what he asks for, and I think at that point we'll be able to roughly figure out what our budget is as well. So I'll share all of that after the call. Hello, loving my bun today. So we're about to hop on a call with our mortgage broker. Christian's he's at work right now, but he's gonna be dialing in, and we're just gonna do a joint call with our mortgage broker just to ask a couple questions. I've got some questions on my laptop, but it's mostly answers to questions that he sent us over via email. So he's asked us to roughly estimate things like our assets, any debts that we have, and any additional income. We're just gonna have a quick chat and see roughly what our ballpark pre-approval looks like, and I'll let you know how the call goes. Okay, we finished the call with our mortgage broker. It went pretty much like I expected. We gave him all the answers to the questions that he asked earlier, and he came back with a ballpark of what we could possibly be pre-approved for. The reason that we want to get a ballpark is that so we can maybe start talking to a realtor and start looking at homes within our budget, and then when the final pre-approval and everything comes in, we can kind of go from there. But at least we know what we can expect to afford in the market right now. If you're pre-approved for like $2 million and then you buy a place for $2 million, that feels like a very financially uncomfortable situation, because then you have 100% of your money going towards your mortgage every single month. And I want to make sure that we're not being put in a situation where our finances are stretched super thin. I will say that our budget at the moment is looking to be anywhere from $600,000 and maybe $900,000 at the top end. I don't think we want to go much beyond that, and that'll give us a really good range. I hope in the Vancouver market people are paying like $5 million for a detached home, so honestly, you can't predict what's gonna come up. But the mortgage broker is basically gonna start looking around for some rates for us. He's got contacts at some different banks, so he's gonna shop around, see who's offering a good rate, and then we gotta choose between a fixed rate and a variable rate for the next 5 years. But that's all kind of in progress at the moment. For now, he actually recommended a realtor to us, and she's got a background in law, which Christian and I both really liked. So we are going to schedule a call with her, and then we also need to upload a bunch of documents to the mortgage brokers. He's got like this portal online where you upload all your stuff, and he's asked for things like pay stubs, ID, some past year T4s and stuff like that, just to actually qualify us for a mortgage based on like accurate documents. Yeah, next steps is gonna be talking to our realtor. We are doing a cosplay today. We basically drove down to New West to what we're gonna do, because we're thinking about buying our first home here. So we found some places on realtor.ca that we really like. So what we're gonna do is go to one of the addresses of the units that we like and pretend that we live there, and then walk around and see how long it takes to like find a coffee shop, where are the grocery stores, where's the park for Mars, how do we like the neighborhood, that whole thing. Currently cruising around to get a feel. It's a lot of hills. A lot of hills. Reminds me of North End. This woman is confused. She's making me nervous. Oh, that was chaotic. That's the plan. It's literally the next day after we spoke to that broker too, so it's January 9th. 8th? 9th. It's January 9th. We're having a cruise around the neighborhood right now. We went from the main area to this little market that they're having. And we're just gonna go have a look. This is why it's so helpful to come in person when you can, because we were looking at some of the units in these buildings, and as you can see, there's a new one gonna be going up soon, so that would completely block our view. So guess what we did? I mean, you saw, we went to New West. We did a little drive around just to get a feel for the neighborhood. Let's talk about it. This feels both very impulsive and very smart, what we just did. Like, we don't even have a realtor yet. We've just gotten like a yellow light from a mortgage broker, and we're already like, let's go drive down and like see what it's all about, acting like we're about to move in. But I think it was actually a pretty good idea, because like I pointed out, there's literally gonna be 2 like skyscrapers being built up right by the water. And it's so sneaky because on realtor.ca, when you're looking at the units and they take a photo of the view, they very conveniently forget to disclose the fact that there are literal cranes like just outside of view. And so being able to go there in person and you can actually see the construction, it's like, okay, now we know for all future listings, if they are currently have a view facing in this direction, we know it's not gonna last that long. So I actually feel like we did a pretty smart thing. And realizing that there's a ton of hills, which like very much reminds me of North Vancouver. We went to the little quayside market that they have, which also again reminds me of North Vancouver because they have the quay as well. And we got to visit a couple of the spots. We had like 3 addresses that we had pulled from New West, and we were driving around to see where they were. And I'm really glad that we did, because some of them like say that they have a good walk score and that it's super central, but when you go, it's actually not that central, or when the building's like in a weird place. There was like one building we went to where the entrance wasn't at the front of the building, it was like on the side, and it was so confusing. I can't imagine trying to get mail delivered there. And the nice thing is that we haven't even started this journey, and it's just nice to be picky. It's nice to be picky and be like, this building actually has a pretty weird entrance and I wouldn't actually want to live here. Or, you know, we know now that listings on this street are on a hill. Do we want to live on a hill as our first choice? Probably not. So with all of that context, we can now look at realtor.ca and have like ideal neighborhoods in mind based on everything that we saw yesterday. So was it impulsive? Yes. But did it absolutely pay off? Yes. And the next time we talk, I'm pretty sure we'll be heading into our conversation with our realtor, so I will let you know what happens with that. Okay, now we're getting to the fun part, the actual house hunting part, talking with a realtor and thinking about where we want to live for like the next X amount of years. And it feels so different than apartment hunting, because this isn't just like somewhere you're gonna live temporarily, you know, like you're just renting, you're just gonna be there for like 3, 4, or 5 years. This is like your home. This is gonna be my home base, so I'm really excited to just think about all of the qualities that I love in a home and really just take the time to find the perfect fit for us. And we are going to be talking with our realtor very soon, and she sent over a list of questions that she wants us to kind of come with an idea of. And she wants to know what location we're thinking of looking in and what our needs, wants, and deal breakers are. And then she's also asked us about our timeline, and I think this is really going to help her like figure out if we're going to be a good fit, if we're a client that she wants to take on. And at the same time, some really good advice that I got about looking for a realtor is that it's a lot like dating. You might meet a realtor that you don't vibe with, or vice versa, and it's really best to just like find the best fit for you, because you guys are going to be spending, you know, a lot of time together. It's a really big decision, and you should totally be with a realtor that you feel comfortable with, that you want to celebrate with, not someone that's gonna like make the experience not as enjoyable for you. So we're really looking forward to talking to her. We've gotten really good vibes so far, so I hope that she is gonna be, you know, our realtor moving forward. And getting into our needs and wants, so starting with my absolute like have to have, the first one, pet friendly. We have Mars, our child. He's part of the family, he's coming with us. If they don't allow pets, I don't allow looking at that property. The next thing I have is an ensuite washer and dryer. I spent like 6 years doing coin laundry, and it's something that I would prefer not to go back to if I don't have to, because there were like people in the building that I knew, and they would wait till the weekend, bring down all of their laundry, and I swear they just like waited, and then they would just camp in the laundry room that had 2 washers, 2 dryers, and they would just stay there the entire day doing laundry. And it was always like, this is a shared space. You can't just camp in the laundry room. And then I also have good walk score. I'm a walker. I don't have my license, but I like to think that even if I did, I would still be a big walker. And so good walk score is very important to me. I don't feel ready either to go and live in the suburbs and be that detached from day-to-day life. So we're looking for a good walk score. I'm also looking for somewhere with a lot of natural light. You know, being a content creator, light is a really big part of my job, and I like shooting in natural light. It also has a really positive impact on my mental health. I spent 1 year on a ground floor unit, and it was the darkest year ever. Like literally dark, but also mentally dark. I'm really looking for somewhere that has a lot of like this natural, beautiful light, because it just like cheers me up inside. I'm also looking for a water view or a city view. Like right now I have a view of Falls Creek. In our last place we had a view of downtown from the North Shore, and it was really nice. So I'm really hoping to keep that theme going and find somewhere with like a really nice water view or city view. I'm not picky. There are these really cool websites that you can look up that show you what the light is going to look like in your apartment based on which direction you're facing. So I kind of used that, and I was like, ooh, south facing light is really pretty. That is now a need. And then we're also looking for a wow factor. This is one that Christian put in actually. He doesn't want to live in what he calls an IKEA like cookie cutter box. He wants something that's a little bit like different. So whether it's got a loft or a rooftop patio, and then he wrote view. So I guess if it has like a really amazing view, that could sway him. And then we're also looking for a 2-bed, 2-bath, ideally larger than 1,200 square feet. And it has to have a parking spot because we have a car, and I don't think we want to do street parking, just because like there could just be no parking and you're gonna have to park like really far away potentially. So having like a parking spot underneath the building and like a parking garage or something is on our needs list. Now for our wants, so these are things that are like a nice to have. We have a built-in fireplace, really big windows, a storage locker, and I wrote concierge because as a content creator, I get a lot of mail, and it's been so nice to have someone collect and keep and accept all my mail for me. It feels like so spoiled. I also lived, again, for 6 years in North Vancouver, where I was going to school, I was working. I would miss packages all the time. And sometimes they would get sent out to like Burnaby or Richmond or wherever the depot was, and I would have to like take time to like take the bus out, go pick up this parcel, and it was just such not how I wanted to be spending my time. So having a concierge has been such a blessing, and I really hope they have them wherever we end up. But if not, it's not the end of the world. Okay, now let's talk about deal breakers, like things that if this unit even has a little bit of this, it's an automatic no. And something about this is so fun because I love to say no to make room for things that are so much more of a yes. So the first one is that when most of the view is another building or trees, there's nothing I want to avoid more than like looking out my window into someone else's apartment, and you know, vice versa. It's just kind of weird. And then trees is kind of the same thing. I don't know why Vancouver city planning is the way that it is, but a lot of the trees are just like naked and so ugly in the winter months, which is like half the year. And if I have to look at that, I would rather not. So that's a deal breaker for me. I also have isolated, so anything that's like a suburb or really isolated away from that, like any walking distance to like coffee shop or grocery store is going to be a no. And then I have low light, small windows, ground floor, did it once, never doing it again. And then she asked, when are you looking to move? And the nice thing is that we don't have a hard date. We are currently renting, so we just need to give 30 days notice. And we are ideally looking to move in the next 4 to 6 months, but it's pretty flexible at the moment. So that's what I have on my list, and we're about to have our call, so that's what I'm gonna go tell her. And we still haven't chatted yet, but based on what I have heard and the communications that we've had over email, it's all been really good and positive. So I think it's gonna be the one that we end up going with, and then we can start actually getting to the house hunting and viewing apartments, which I'm very, very, very excited for. Okay, she's gonna be our realtor. The vibes are good. I love her background in law. She sounds like she really knows her stuff, and I trust her to like actually look through everything and give us her perspective from not only a realtor, but through the eyes of law, which is like such a bonus. So we are officially gonna be working with her. So it's time to start looking. Things are moving a lot faster than I thought. I don't like this place.
Don't even want to come back, then that it is what it is.
It wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.